Welcome to Hypnosis for Abundance, where you reprogram your mind while you sleep. As you drift, you'll whisper, "I receive with ease," and feel your frequency align with prosperity. You don't force, your receptivity draws abundance to you. Hypnosis for Abundance. Introduction. You are entering a chamber of remembered wisdom, where the oldest truth breathes again. Abundance is received, not wrestled into being. A blossom does not strain toward the sun. It simply opens. So, too, in Hypnosis for Abundance, you awaken the power of receptivity, the silent law by which the universe answers resonance, not force. See your mind as consecrated soil. Every thought is a seed, every feeling a hidden root drawing life upward. So the patterns of lack and struggle will sprout. Cultivate the impressions of plenty, and prosperity rises of its own accord. This is not fantasy. It is the quiet mechanism of universal law. Your life today is the echo of yesterday's convictions. Change the tone within, and the echo returns transformed. The law of attraction does not heed what you merely wish. It harmonizes with what you are. You become the frequency you repeatedly hold, and reality moves to meet your song. The mystics knew, what you seek is already walking toward you. Your task is not to chase the river, but to step into its current. Like a finely tuned receiver, you turn the dial of consciousness until your signal matches the life you desire. The rite is simple and sacred. Each night, as the borderlands of sleep open, your subconscious grows most impressionable. In these twilight corridors, old agreements can be dissolved and new truths planted. This is why the elders worked by moonlight. The conscious mind rests, the deeper self awakens, and the garden can be tended without disturbance. Now you stand at the threshold. Hypnosis for Abundance is the inner alchemy of allowing, a gentle loosening of effort so that receiving becomes natural. Breathe, open, and remember. Abundance has always known your name. Your only work is to answer. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. Awakening the Inner Magnet. Chapter 1. The Seed of Receiving. Long ago, in a quiet village among rolling hills, lived a young woman named Charlotte. Each morning she would gaze at the distant mountains where successful merchants dwelled, believing such prosperity belonged only to others. Yet in her heart, a small voice whispered of greater possibilities. One dawn, after a night of restless dreams, Charlotte discovered an ancient scroll beneath her grandmother's floorboards. Its weathered chapters spoke of the law of attraction, how thoughts, like seeds, grow into the gardens of our lives. Something stirred within her as she read those ageless words. Instead of doubting her dreams, she began whispering, "I am ready," with each sunrise. At first, nothing seemed to change. But Charlotte persisted, turning every worried thought into an affirmation of readiness. Gradually, opportunities emerged like spring blossoms. A traveling merchant sought her skilled needlework. A noble lady commissioned her designs. As Charlotte opened herself to receive, life responded with increasing abundance. In the same village lived Wesley, a humble gardener who understood nature's wisdom. His plot of land began as bare earth, yet he tended it with unwavering faith. While others rushed their plantings, Wesley worked with peaceful certainty, knowing that each seed contained the promise of harvest. Day after day, he would speak softly to his garden, sharing his vision of the abundance to come. Others questioned his methods, seeing only empty soil where he saw future bounty. But Wesley remained steadfast, nurturing his plants with patience and joy. As seasons turned, his faith bore fruit. Where once lay barren ground, now stood a garden overflowing with life. Vegetables grew in abundant rows, flowers bloomed in brilliant colors, and fruit trees bent heavy with their sweet offerings. Wesley's garden became living proof that consistent faith yields magnificent results. Your mind is like Wesley's garden and Charlotte's awakening. Every thought you plant, every belief you nurture, shapes the harvest of your experience. When you declare, "I am ready," you prepare the soil of your consciousness for abundance. Trust that your dreams, like seeds, contain all they need to flourish. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, allow these ancient practices to take root. Whisper to yourself 3 times, "I receive with ease." Let your breath flow naturally, each inhale drawing in abundance, each exhale releasing doubt and fear. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breathing align with the universal flow of prosperity. Chapter 2. The Flow of Gratitude. Like ripples across still water, gratitude spreads its transformative power through every aspect of your existence. The ancient masters knew this truth. Appreciation acts as a magnetic force, drawing forth more of what you cherish. When you pause to acknowledge the blessings already present in your life, you activate an eternal law as reliable as gravity itself. Evelyn's story teaches us this timeless wisdom. Each morning, where complaints once clouded her thoughts, she chose instead to whisper words of thanks for the warmth of sunlight on her face, for the breath in her lungs, for the beat of her heart. At first, this practice felt mechanical, almost forced. Yet as days passed, her perspective shifted like clouds parting to reveal clear skies. Unexpected gifts began appearing in her path, a kind word from a stranger, a forgotten check in the mail, opportunities that seemed to arise from nowhere. Her gratitude created a field of positive energy that attracted more reasons to be thankful. This universal principle reveals itself again through Theo's experience. His daily walk to work had become a dreary obligation, each step heavy with resignation. Then he remembered the old teaching, "What you appreciate, appreciates." He began acknowledging everything around him with silent thanks. The sturdy trees offering shade, the buildings standing sentinel through years of history, the strangers whose paths crossed his own, each carrying their unique light. As Theo cultivated this practice, his entire journey transformed. The same path he had walked countless times revealed new beauty each day. His heart opened wider, and life responded in kind. Colleagues noticed his brightened spirit. Creative solutions flowed more easily at work. Even his relationships deepened, as though gratitude had cleared his vision to see the good that had always surrounded him. Your own life holds this same potential for transformation. Every thank you uttered with sincerity becomes a key, unlocking doors to greater abundance. When you choose gratitude, you align yourself with the natural flow of universal giving. You declare to the cosmos, "I see the good, and I am ready for more." As the night embraces you, Let this ancient practice become your own. Settle into a comfortable position and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Now, with gentle attention, count 10 specific blessings in your life. Feel the warmth of appreciation for each one. Let this gratitude wrap around you like a soft blanket as you drift into sleep, knowing that you rest in the infinite field of divine provision. Chapter 3. The Language of Belief. In the quiet corners of a small town, Harriet carried herself with shoulders bent under invisible weights. Each morning she would look in the mirror and whisper, "Nothing ever works out for me." These words fell like heavy stones into the pool of her life, creating ripples that shaped her reality. Day after day, her prophecies of inadequacy fulfilled themselves until wisdom found her through an unexpected source. The truth rings eternal. Your words weave the fabric of your tomorrow. Each utterance sends vibrations into the universe, attracting circumstances that match their frequency. When you speak of lack, scarcity follows. When you declare abundance, prosperity responds. This is not mere coincidence, but the sacred law that governs all creation. Arthur's tale mirrors this wisdom. For years he wore the label of unlucky like a well-worn coat, unable to see how this simple word colored every experience. "Bad luck follows me," he would say, and indeed misfortune seemed to chase his footsteps. Yet transformation awaited him in the simple act of changing his words. One morning, Arthur chose differently. Instead of his usual lament, he spoke, "I am blessed with good fortune." At first, the words felt foreign on his tongue, like speaking an unknown language. But he persisted, and slowly the world around him began to shift. Opportunities emerged where before there had been walls. Chance meetings led to open doors. His new words became bridges to possibilities he had never imagined. Your words are more than mere sounds. They are instruments of creation. Each time you speak, you cast ripples into the infinite field of potential. The universe listens not just to your conscious declarations, but to the quiet whispers of your heart. When you align these whispers with what you wish to create, magic unfolds naturally. As the moon rises tonight, find a quiet moment before sleep claims you. Choose one phrase that lifts your spirit and fills you with light. Perhaps I am worthy of all good things, or abundance flows to me easily. Whisper it softly, letting each word settle into your being. Feel its truth resonate in your heart. Let this be the final thought that accompanies you into dreams, planting itself deep in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Chapter 4. The Gentle Power of Letting Go. In the quiet village of Eastbrook, Mabel spent decades collecting regrets like treasured stones. Each morning she would touch these invisible weights in her mind, the career path not taken, the love left unexpressed, the dreams set aside. These thoughts became her constant companions, whispering stories of what could have been, until the burden grew too heavy to carry. Yet wisdom often arrives in unexpected moments. For Mabel, it came while watching her granddaughter skip stones across the lake. Each pebble, once released, created ripples that expanded outward in perfect circles. In that instant, she understood. Holding on to regrets was like clutching stones that were meant to be cast away. The universe speaks in gentle whispers, revealing that true power lies not in holding on, but in letting go. When you release what weighs upon your spirit, you create space for new possibilities to enter. This is the sacred alchemy of surrender. Not a sign of defeat, but an act of profound trust in life's unfolding wisdom. In the bustling city across the valley, Clyde learned this same truth through different circumstances. A successful businessman, he had built his life around controlling every detail, every outcome, every moment. His hands were perpetually clenched, his mind constantly spinning with plans and contingencies. Yet despite his careful orchestration, the most meaningful experiences seemed to slip through his grasp. One morning, exhausted from his endless striving, Clyde sat in his garden and simply watched a butterfly land on a flower. He noticed how it arrived without his planning, danced without his direction, and departed without his permission. In that moment, something within him softened. He began to understand that the universe operates on its own divine timeline, bringing gifts we could never orchestrate through force. As you walk this path of transformation, remember that the law of attraction responds not to your grip, but to your openness. When you release your attachment to how things must be, you allow the universe to surprise you with how things could be. As your eyes close tonight, imagine holding a bright balloon. Feel its gentle pull upward as it yearns for the sky. Into this balloon, place one worry, one regret, one old story that no longer serves your highest good. Now, with gentle intention, release your hold. Watch as it rises into the evening sky, carrying away what you no longer need to keep. Feel the lightness that remains in its wake. This is the space where new blessings will flow. Chapter 5. The Radiance of Joy. In a small village tucked away from the bustle of modern life, Lucille discovered a secret that transformed her existence. Each morning she would step onto her porch and laugh, not because anything particularly amusing had happened, but simply because she chose joy. At first, her neighbors thought her peculiar, watching her throw her head back in genuine mirth while tending her flowers or hanging laundry. Yet, as weeks passed, remarkable changes began unfolding in her life. Unexpected gifts appeared as if carried by the wind itself: a promotion at work, reconciliation with an estranged sister, even finding love when she least expected it. Lucille's laughter had become a beacon, drawing to her the very essence of life's sweetness. Her story teaches us an ancient truth. Joy is not merely a response to good fortune, but a magnetic force that summons abundance. The universe responds not to your words or actions alone, but to the vibration you maintain. When you choose joy, pure, unbridled delight, you align with the highest frequency of attraction. This alignment opens channels through which abundance naturally flows. Your laughter, your smile, your moments of pure pleasure. These are not frivolous indulgences, but powerful instruments of manifestation. Consider Henry, a businessman burdened by mounting pressures. One evening, overwhelmed by deadlines and demands, he remembered how his grandmother would dance in her kitchen during difficult times. On impulse, he turned on the radio and began to sway. It felt foolish at first, but as the music moved through him, tension melted away. He made this his daily practice, 5 minutes of uninhibited dancing whenever stress threatened to overwhelm him. Within months, Henry noticed a shift. Clients who had been hesitant suddenly signed contracts. Creative solutions emerged for old problems. Even his team's energy transformed, matching his lighter spirit. His spontaneous kitchen dances had become a ritual of surrender, a declaration to the universe that he chose joy over worry. These stories illuminate a fundamental truth. Joy is not the result of success. It is the precursor. When you dare to embrace happiness, even amid uncertainty, you transmit a signal to the universe that you trust in its abundance. This signal attracts circumstances that match your elevated state. The universe seeks harmony with your dominant vibration. Choose joy and watch as life rearranges itself to bring you more reasons to smile. This is not merely positive thinking, it is spiritual law in action. Before bed tonight, recall one small moment from your day that brought a smile to your face. Perhaps it was the warmth of sunlight on your skin, a child's laughter, or the taste of your morning coffee. Let this memory rest in your chest like a glowing ember. As you drift into dreams, allow its warmth to expand, knowing that this simple practice magnetizes more moments of delight into your tomorrow. Chapter 6. The Visionary Heart. In the quietest corners of time, between moments of doing and becoming, lies the sacred art of vision. Clara understood this truth deeply. Each evening, as the world wound down its daily dance, she would settle into her favorite chair, close her eyes, and step into her future home. Not as a dreamer yearning from afar, but as one who already dwelled within those walls. She felt the smooth wood beneath her feet, breathed in the scent of lavender drifting through open windows, heard the gentle chime of wind bells in the garden. This wasn't mere fantasy, it was spiritual architecture. The universe speaks in images before it speaks in form. Your thoughts are like brushstrokes on the canvas of reality, painting what will be. When you hold a vision with unwavering clarity, you forge a template that the physical world must eventually mirror. This is the ancient wisdom that shaped civilizations. Every monument, every invention, every achievement first existed as a picture in someone's mind. The power lies not in wanting or wishing, but in knowing. When you can touch, taste, and feel your vision as though it already exists, you align yourself with the creative force that shapes worlds. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the workshop where reality is crafted. Amos embodied this truth without knowing he did. For months, he would stand alone in his room, speaking to an invisible audience. He felt the warmth of their attention, saw their encouraging smiles, experienced the satisfaction of words flowing effortlessly from his heart. He didn't question when or how. He simply lived it in his mind until the boundary between vision and reality began to blur. When the community center called for speakers at their annual gathering, it felt to Amos like remembering rather than discovering. As he took the podium, everything was familiar. The angle of the lights, the faces turned toward him, even the subtle energy in the room. His words flowed just as they had in his visions, and the audience responded exactly as he had imagined. The world had simply caught up to what he had already created in his mind. Your visions are not idle daydreams. They are blueprints waiting to be built. Every detail you add, every emotion you infuse, every moment you spend inhabiting your vision strengthens its pull on physical reality. The universe conspires to match your inner picture with outer circumstance. Tonight, close your eyes and picture one scene as clearly as a painting, already alive, already yours. Let every sense awaken to this reality. Feel its textures, hear its sounds, Breathe its air. Don't rush. Stay until it feels more real than your present moment, until you can walk through it as naturally as you walk through your own home. This is not practice for the future. It is creating the future, one vivid image at a time. Chapter 7. The Echo of Kindness. In the quiet village where Beatrice lived, she noticed how life seemed to stagnate around those who clutched tightly to what they had. Each morning, she would share fresh bread from her modest bakery with elderly neighbors, offer a listening ear to troubled souls, and lend her strength wherever needed. At first, she gave without thought of return, simply because her heart guided her to do so. Yet as seasons passed, mysterious blessings began flowing into her life. Unexpected opportunities, timely assistance, and abundant provisions appeared as naturally as sunrise. The universe operates through continuous circulation. Like a river that must flow to remain pure, abundance thrives in movement. When you grasp too firmly, you create resistance in this flow. But in releasing your gifts freely into the world, you open channels for greater abundance to reach you. The ancient wisdom whispers, "As you give, so shall you receive." This is not merely poetic sentiment, but a fundamental law of existence. Every act of genuine giving creates ripples in the cosmic ocean, ripples that inevitably return to embrace their source. In a distant city, Franklin dwelled in fear of scarcity. His cupboards overflowed with unused items, his heart heavy with worry about tomorrow. One day, witnessing a family in need, something shifted within him. He began sharing his excess, books, tools, knowledge, time. To his amazement, as his possessions decreased, his life expanded. New connections formed, opportunities emerged, and an inexplicable sense of wealth filled his days. His transformation teaches a timeless truth. Hoarding creates stagnation, while sharing creates flow. The universe responds not to what you keep, but to what you circulate with love. When you trust enough to give freely, you demonstrate faith in the endless supply available to all. Your own abundance multiplies not through accumulation, but through circulation. Each act of generosity declares to the universe your trust in its infinite provision. This trust, this willingness to participate in life's great exchange, magnetizes greater blessings toward you. As you prepare for sleep, breathe in softly and imagine sending golden light outward to someone dear, knowing it will circle back to you. Breathe in for a gentle count of 4 and breathe out for 6. Let your jaw loosen, your shoulders melt into the pillow, your belly rise and fall like a calm tide. Picture a small sun resting behind your sternum, warm and steady. With each exhale, that sun pours golden light down your arms and into your hands. With each inhale, it returns to your heart, brighter and softer than before. Now bring to mind someone you care for, human, animal, or even a place that comforts you. On your exhale, send a strand of that golden light to them, a quiet blessing with no demands. On your inhale, feel the gentle return, not taking from them, but receiving the echo of your own kindness, amplified by connection. If strong emotions arise, let them pass like clouds. Stay with the rhythm of your breath and the simple truth that what you give, you also grow within yourself. Let the circle widen to your room, your home, your street, the sleeping world, until the gold becomes an easy atmosphere you can rest inside. Whisper inwardly, "I am safe to release the day. I am open to receive the good I send. As your breath grows light and unhurried, allow the sun in your chest to dim to a warm ember, steady enough to keep you company through the night. The work is done. The light knows the way back. Sleep. Chapter 8. The Still Point of Peace. In the depths of a bustling market, Dorothy paced between stalls, her mind racing with endless worries about money, time, and tomorrow's uncertainties. Each anxious thought seemed to repel the very thing she desired, creating a whirlwind that scattered her intentions like autumn leaves. One evening, exhausted from her mental storms, she stumbled upon an ancient meditation garden. There, beneath a weathered arch, she discovered the power of stillness. As her breathing slowed, she noticed how clarity naturally arose in the spaces between thoughts. Her racing mind gradually settled, like muddy water becoming crystal clear. With each peaceful moment, solutions emerged effortlessly, and opportunities appeared as if drawn to her newfound serenity. When the mind rests in stillness, it becomes a pure vessel for abundance. Chaos creates static that disrupts the natural flow of universal energy. Yet, in the quiet spaces, your desires can take root and flourish. The universe speaks in whispers, and only a calm mind can hear its guidance. This truth found another witness in Sylvester, who spent years chasing success through constant action and endless noise. His days filled with meetings, plans, and ceaseless activity, yet prosperity remained elusive. One day, after losing an important contract, he retreated to a silent cabin in the mountains. In that sanctuary of stillness, everything changed. The answers he had frantically pursued came to him in moments of quiet reflection. Business solutions arose naturally, relationships healed, and opportunities emerged as if by magic. He realized that in silence, he could finally hear the universe's subtle directions. Your mind is like a lake. When turbulent, it reflects nothing clearly, but when still, it mirrors the entire sky. In this quietness, manifestation finds its purest expression. The law of attraction works most powerfully through a mind at peace, for then your intentions shine undistorted by doubt or fear. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, let quietness enter. Breathe slowly, counting backwards from 10 into the deep awareness of peace. With each number, feel yourself sinking deeper into tranquility. Let this practice become your gateway to clarity and abundance. Chapter 9. The Golden Mirror. In a bustling marketplace, Minnie wandered among stalls filled with vibrant wares, watching as others seemed to effortlessly find the perfect treasures at remarkable prices. "They're so fortunate," she would whisper, her heart heavy with the weight of comparison. Yet, as seasons passed, she noticed a pattern. Her words about others' luck came from a deeper place, a hidden valley within, where she doubted her own worthiness to receive. Through the wisdom of an old merchant who saw beyond her surface thoughts, Minnie learned that every judgment of another's fortune was really a judgment upon herself. As she began to shift her inner dialogue from "they are lucky" to "abundance flows to all, including me," the marketplace transformed. Suddenly, she discovered rare finds, met generous vendors, and experienced unexpected discounts, not because the world had changed, but because she had altered her inner stance. The universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting back the energy we project. When you see others as blessed, you acknowledge the presence of blessing. When you recognize abundance in another's life, you attune yourself to that same frequency of prosperity. Gerald's story echoes this truth from a different angle. As a craftsman, he once felt a sting whenever fellow artisans achieved success. Their victories seemed to diminish his own potential, until he discovered the ancient wisdom of genuine celebration. With each sincere congratulation he offered with every honest word of praise for another's craft, he found his own work improving, his customers multiplying. The law of attraction responds not just to our thoughts about ourselves, but to our thoughts about others. When you genuinely rejoice in another's good fortune, you declare to the universe, "Yes, this too is possible for me." Every blessing you acknowledge in another's life becomes a seed planted in your own garden of possibilities. This mirror principle extends beyond material success. Your perception of others' relationships, health, creativity, and joy all reflect your deepest beliefs about what's possible for you. By shifting from comparison to celebration, from envy to appreciation, you transform the very lens through which abundance views you. As your eyes grow heavy tonight, select one person whose success has sparked complicated feelings within you. Perhaps someone who seems to attract good fortune effortlessly. As you drift toward sleep, offer them a genuine blessing. Feel your heart expand as you wish them even greater joy, even more abundance. Notice how this blessing creates a circle of light that naturally includes you. For in the universe's eyes, there is no separation between the blesser and the blessed. Chapter 10. The Music of Trust. Rose once walked through uncertainty as though surrounded by shadows, but trusting a greater plan brought light to every corner. Each morning she would wake with a weight of worry pressing against her chest, questions about her future casting long shadows across her path. Yet something within her whispered of a deeper wisdom at work. In those moments when fear threatened to overwhelm her, Rose began practicing an ancient art, the art of trust. She learned to breathe into uncertainty rather than resist it. With each passing day, she noticed small miracles unfolding. A chance encounter that led to an opportunity, a delayed train that resulted in a life-changing conversation, a seeming setback that opened an unexpected door. The universe operates through perfect timing, orchestrating events in ways our limited perception cannot fully grasp. When you release the need to control every outcome, you align with this divine choreography. Your role is not to force the dance, but to move in harmony with it. Calvin's story echoes this truth. Where once he chased desperately after his desires, he discovered a paradoxical power in stepping back. His business had faced significant challenges, and his initial response was to grasp tightly, to push harder, to try controlling every variable. Yet the more he struggled, the more things seemed to slip away. It was only when Calvin surrendered to the rhythm of life that everything began to shift. He stopped forcing solutions and instead learned to wait with quiet confidence. Opportunities that had seemed lost returned unexpectedly, often in better forms than he had initially imagined. His relationships improved, his creativity flourished, and his business began to thrive, not through desperate effort, but through aligned trust. These stories illuminate a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to your struggle, but to your trust. When you release the grip of fear and control, you create space for divine timing to work its magic. Every challenge carries within it the seed of greater good. waiting to bloom in its perfect season. As you drift to sleep, hum gently, even wordlessly, until your body feels guided into releasing control with tenderness. Let your lips rest together and let the breath flow through your nose. On the exhale, hum softly, no melody needed, just a warm, even tone. Try a 4 to 6 rhythm. Inhale for 4. Hum the exhale for 6, feeling the sound buzz in your nose, lips, and chest. Keep the volume low, like you're humming to a sleeping cat. If your breath feels tight, shorten the counts. Comfort matters more than precision. As the hum steadies, scan your body. Let your jaw unclench, tongue rest on the floor of your mouth, shoulders sink. Feel the vibration as a friendly guide, throat soothed, heart area warm, belly loosening. Place a hand on your chest or abdomen and let the hum mingle with your touch. When thoughts wander, imagine they hitch a ride on the sound and drift away at the end of each exhale. No chasing, no fixing. You are practicing trust, lengthening the out-breath, softening effort, letting the nervous system tilt toward rest. After a few minutes, let the hum grow quieter, like a candle dimming. Shift from humming to a silent, felt hum, your body remembering the vibration without making it. If you like, pair the breath with a simple phrase. On the inhale, I soften. On the exhale, I release. Allow your breath to become effortless, your attention wide and drowsy. Sleep doesn't need you to try. It needs you to allow. Let the last hint of sound dissolve, and let your body finish the journey on its own. Part 2. Expanding the Field of Abundance. Chapter 11. The Fountain Within. An ancient truth lies waiting to be rediscovered. Abundance flows not from the world outside, but from the infinite spring within. In a quiet village, Sadie spent years seeking validation for her artistry. She painted beautiful works, but hesitated to share them, always waiting for the perfect moment, the right gallery, or enough praise to feel worthy. Each day she would walk past her easel, brushes untouched, colors waiting patiently to dance across canvas. Then, one morning, as sunlight streamed through her window, she understood. The creative force flowing through her wasn't meant to be judged. It was meant to be expressed. She began painting for the pure joy of creation, letting her heart guide each stroke. Soon, her home overflowed with vibrant works born from this inner freedom. To her amazement, opportunities began appearing. Neighbors requesting commissioned pieces, a local cafe offering wall space, children asking for art lessons. The universe responds not to our need for approval, but to our willingness to let our inner light shine. When you connect to the wellspring within, external circumstances naturally align with your radiance. George, a craftsman, discovered this same truth through a different path. For years, he created furniture following others' designs, believing success meant imitating what already existed. But deep within, unique visions called to him, designs that merged function with flowing forms inspired by nature. One day, he chose trust over tradition. Instead of seeking permission or precedent, he allowed his inner wisdom to guide his hands. His first original piece, a chair that seemed to grow from the ground like a tree, captured attention not because it followed trends, but because it expressed something authentic and new. Orders began flowing in, not from the usual channels he had struggled to enter, but from unexpected sources who resonated with his genuine creativity. His work found homes in places he had never imagined, simply because he trusted the abundance of ideas flowing from within. These stories illuminate a fundamental principle. True abundance isn't granted by the world, it emanates from your innermost being. When you recognize yourself as the source of creativity, prosperity, and joy, you tap into an infinite well that never runs dry. The outer world simply reflects back what you already know to be true within. You carry within you an inexhaustible spring of ideas, inspiration, and potential. Each time you trust this inner source, you open new channels for abundance to flow into your life. Your role is not to seek permission or approval, but to allow your inner riches to naturally express themselves through you. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, breathe deeply into your chest and whisper these words of power. I am the source. Let this truth settle into your being, knowing that all abundance flows from within. Chapter 12. The Invitation of Curiosity. In the quiet corners of life where wisdom whispers its most precious secrets, there exists a truth as old as time itself. Curiosity opens the gates of abundance. June, who lived in a small village, understood this instinctively. While others rushed past the morning dew, she would pause to examine each crystal droplet, marveling at how the sun painted rainbows in their depths. Her wonderment drew people to her like moths to a gentle flame. Strangers would stop to share what had caught her attention, and in those moments, connections bloomed effortlessly. Through her natural inquisitiveness, June discovered that every person carried a universe of stories within them, each one a gift waiting to be unwrapped. The universe responds to the questions you ask. When you approach life with genuine curiosity, you align yourself with the infinite intelligence that governs all creation. Your questions become keys, unlocking doors you never knew existed. They are like pebbles dropped into still waters, creating ripples of possibility that extend far beyond your immediate view. Harold's tale mirrors this eternal truth. As a craftsman who had followed the same patterns for decades, he found himself yearning for something more. Instead of forcing change through will alone, he began asking questions that no one else thought to ask. What if this material could be used differently? What if tradition could dance with innovation? These questions led him down unexpected paths through winding streets of possibility, until he discovered a method of crafting that transformed his entire trade. His success flowed not from striving, but from the simple act of remaining open to what might be. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to a mind filled with wonder. When you release the weight of knowing everything and embrace the lightness of curiosity, you create space for magic to enter. Each question you pose to the universe is like opening a window in a dark room. Light rushes in, illuminating possibilities that were always there, waiting to be discovered. Your relationship with abundance transforms when you approach it with genuine interest rather than desperate need. Ask yourself, what gifts might be hiding in plain sight? What blessings are waiting to be recognized? Like June and Harold, you too can allow curiosity to guide you toward unexpected treasures. The ancient masters understood that answers come not to those who demand, but to those who remain in a state of wonderful questioning. This is the secret that has been whispered through the ages, that curiosity itself is a form of abundance. multiplying joy and attracting synchronicities that logic alone could never predict. As you prepare for rest this night, settle into the soft embrace of wonder. Let your final thoughts be gentle questions that invite tomorrow's blessings. Rest with one question in your mind. What joy is ready to find me tomorrow? Chapter 13. The Power of Ritual. In the depths of time, wise ones have known that ritual holds the power to reshape reality. Through sacred practices, repeated with devotion, you align your energy with the infinite forces that govern creation. What begins as a simple act transforms into a bridge between your current circumstances and the abundance you seek to manifest. Edith understood this timeless truth. Each evening, as shadows lengthened across her walls, she would light a single candle. This wasn't merely about illumination. It was her declaration to the universe that she was ready for new light to enter her life. As the flame danced before her, she allowed its gentle movement to remind her that transformation is always possible. Soon, opportunities began appearing in her life with the same quiet certainty as her nightly ritual. The power of ritual lies not in complexity, but in consistency. Your repeated actions become anchors, holding steady your intentions even when outer circumstances appear turbulent. These practices create a sacred space where manifestation can unfold naturally, like flowers opening to morning light. Walter discovered this through his own simple practice. Each day he would open his journal and write 3 blessings he wished to see manifest. At first it felt mechanical, perhaps even doubtful. Yet as days turned to weeks, something shifted within him. The act of writing became a ceremony of faith, each word carrying the weight of certainty. His life began expanding in precise alignment with the blessings he had scripted, as though his journal had become a blueprint the universe was eager to fulfill. Your rituals need not be elaborate to hold power. It is your presence and intention that infuse them with transformative energy. When you approach these practices with reverence, you create a channel through which universal abundance can flow more freely into your experience. The ancient wisdom keepers taught that ritual is the language through which we communicate with the infinite. Through conscious, repeated action, you declare your readiness to receive. Each gesture becomes a prayer, each moment an opportunity to align with the abundance that awaits you. As the flame of Edith's candle brightened her space, so too did her life begin to glow with unexpected blessings. As Walter's pen moved across paper, so too did his reality reshape itself to match his written intentions. Their stories remind us that ritual is not mere superstition, but a practical tool for manifestation. Tonight, imagine lighting a candle in your mind, brighter with each exhale. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Voice of Worthiness. In the depths of night, where truth whispers most clearly, a sacred understanding awaits. Your inherent worth stands unchangeable, like the stars above. Marian moved through life with shoulders curved inward, her voice a perpetual whisper of, "I'm sorry." Each morning she rose, apologizing to the sun for taking up space. Each evening she thanked others for tolerating her presence. The universe waited patiently as she carried this burden, until one autumn morning when she caught her reflection in a shop window. Something shifted in that moment. She stood straighter, remembering an ancient wisdom that had slumbered in her bones. "I am here because I am meant to be," she declared to her reflection. From that day forward, her words changed, and with them, her world transformed. Opportunities arose as naturally as flowers turning toward light. Her business flourished, relationships deepened, and abundance flowed not because she had changed who she was, but because she finally saw her true value. This truth echoes through Clyde B's journey as well. For years, he undercharged for his craftsmanship, believing his work less valuable than others. He would hesitate to name his price, accepting whatever others offered. Yet the universe conspired to awaken him through an elderly craftsman who recognized his gift. "Your hands carry wisdom," the old one told him. "Honor that wisdom with its true worth." When Clyde began valuing his work appropriately, a remarkable shift occurred. Not only did clients willingly pay his new rates, but they sought him out specifically, recognizing the quality he had always offered, but had been afraid to claim. His income tripled not through external change, but through internal recognition of his worth. These stories illuminate a fundamental law. The universe can only match the value you claim for yourself. When you declare your worth, you align with the natural flow of abundance. This is not pride, but truth, a recognition of the divine spark within you. As you rest tonight, wrap yourself in this timeless knowing. Let your breath carry you deeper into acceptance of your innate value. As sleep approaches, affirm softly, "I am worthy. I always have been." Chapter 15. The Art of Receiving. In the heart of an ancient village lived Pearl, a weaver of extraordinary tapestries. Though her work brought beauty to all who beheld it, she would wave away praise as though batting at invisible moths. "It's nothing special," she would say, or "anyone could do this." Each dismissal of appreciation wove an invisible barrier between her and the abundance trying to flow into her life. The universe speaks in the language of giving and receiving, like the eternal dance of breath. Inhale and exhale, ebb and flow. When Pearl finally understood this truth, she began a practice that transformed her life. Instead of deflecting kind words, she would pause, breathe deeply, and simply say, "Thank you." This small shift created ripples through her existence like stones cast upon still water. Within months, her tapestries began selling at prices that once would have seemed impossible. Opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers blooming in spring. The more she allowed herself to receive appreciation, the more her talent flourished, creating a cycle of increasing abundance. In a distant city, Lester, a humble musician, discovered a similar truth. He had always given freely of his music, but struggled to accept payment or recognition. His breakthrough came when an old master told him, "To refuse a gift is to block the river of abundance for all." Taking these words to heart, Lester began accepting what others offered, whether it was applause, payment, or simple gratitude, with the same grace with which he played his instrument. As he opened himself to receiving, his music reached more hearts, his concerts filled larger halls, and his life became a symphony of abundance. These stories reveal an essential truth. Receiving is not an act of selfishness, but a sacred completion of the cycle of abundance. When you resist receiving, you deny others the joy of giving. You interrupt the natural flow of energy that wishes to bless both giver and receiver. The universe constantly extends its gifts, in forms both subtle and grand. Each compliment, each opportunity, each moment of success is a note in the endless song of abundance. Your role is not to judge whether you deserve these gifts, but to accept them with grace and gratitude. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, imagine opening your hands and heart to invisible treasures. Let the warmth of acceptance flow through you, knowing that your willingness to receive creates space for even greater abundance to enter. Chapter 16. The Dance of Alignment. In ancient times, a weaver named Winifred spent endless hours at her loom, pushing herself to create more and more tapestries. Though her work was beautiful, each piece drained her spirit further. She struggled against time, against her own limitations, fighting to prove her worth through sheer determination. Yet the more she pushed, the less satisfaction she found, and the fewer customers appeared at her door. One morning, as sunlight streamed through her window, Winifred noticed a spider spinning its web. The creature moved with such grace, each thread placed with natural precision. In that moment she understood. The spider didn't force its creation. It simply allowed its nature to express itself. From that day forward, Winifred changed her approach. She began weaving only when inspiration moved her. She listened to the rhythm of her heart, creating patterns that flowed naturally from her imagination. Soon her work took on a luminous quality it had never possessed before. Customers who passed her window stopped in wonder, drawn by the ease and beauty emanating from her new pieces. Without pushing, without struggling, her success blossomed. The wisdom revealed in Winifred's tale speaks to a fundamental truth. When you align with your natural flow, abundance arrives without strain. Resistance creates turbulence in the stream of well-being that constantly moves toward you. Your task is not to paddle upstream, but to release the oars and trust the current. This truth found its echo in Howard, a merchant who had always believed prosperity required constant struggle. He pushed through each day, forcing deals, chasing opportunities, and exhausting himself in the process. Yet his breakthrough came when he learned to follow his intuition instead of his fears. Howard began listening to the quiet nudges that guided him towards certain ventures and away from others. He stopped forcing connections and allowed relationships to develop naturally. Rather than pursuing success, he aligned himself with it. Soon, opportunities began finding him. Deals unfolded with unexpected ease. His business flourished not through force, but through flow. Your journey mirrors these ancient tales. When you release the need to control every outcome, you open yourself to receive what has been waiting for you. The universe operates through the law of least resistance, like water finding its natural path downhill. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, practice this timeless wisdom. Lie back and envision yourself floating gently downstream. Feel the water supporting you completely. Notice how no effort is required. You are carried naturally toward your good. Let this sensation of effortless movement become your new relationship with life's flow. The ancient ones knew, it is not the force of your rowing, but the grace of your allowing that brings you home to abundance. Chapter 17. The Blessing of Patience. In the quiet hours before dawn, Hattie would visit her garden, her footsteps gentle on the morning-kissed earth. Day after day she scattered seeds, watered the soil, and waited. Weeks passed without a single shoot breaking through the dark earth. Yet she continued her devoted ritual, speaking softly to the sleeping seeds beneath the ground. The mysteries of life unfold according to their own rhythm. Just as Hattie learned to trust the wisdom of seasons, you too must understand that manifestation follows natural cycles. Each desire planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness requires its perfect season to emerge. When you align with divine timing, you step into the dance of the universe. This ancient truth reveals itself through countless patterns in nature. The oak tree doesn't demand its acorn mature overnight. The butterfly doesn't rush its metamorphosis. The tide doesn't hurry its return to shore. Irving's story mirrors this wisdom. For years, he pushed against closed doors, exhausting himself trying to force opportunities before their time. His breakthrough came when he finally surrendered to the natural flow of timing. Rather than desperately reaching for what wasn't yet ripe, he learned to prepare himself for opportunities while trusting their perfect arrival. The universe operates with impeccable precision. What appears as delay often serves as protection, preparation, or the arrangement of circumstances for your highest good. When you resist this timing, you create unnecessary tension. When you flow with it, you enter a state of grace where everything unfolds with elegant ease. Just as Hattie's garden eventually burst into bloom, filling her yard with colors more vibrant than she had imagined, your desires will manifest in their perfect season. The key lies not in forcing growth, but in maintaining unwavering faith while time works its magic. Irving discovered that the very opportunities he had once chased began naturally gravitating toward him once he relaxed into trust. His path smoothed before him, and synchronicities appeared like stepping stones across a stream, each one perfectly placed to support his next step. This truth extends into every area of life. The promotion, the relationship, the inspiration, the abundance, all respond to the same universal law of divine timing. Your role is to remain steadfast in your vision while allowing the when and how to unfold naturally. Remember, nature never rushes, yet everything is accomplished. The seed doesn't question whether it will become a flower. It simply holds the pattern of its full expression, while time brings it to fruition. You too can rest in this same certainty, knowing that what you have planted in consciousness must, by universal law, come forth in physical form. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, breathe slowly and remind yourself, my timing is perfect. Chapter 18. The Gift of Presence. In the quiet hills beyond the bustling city, Nora lived her days in perpetual motion. Her mind raced ahead to tomorrow's tasks while her hands moved mechanically through today's duties. Life felt like an endless chase, each moment slipping through her fingers as she reached for the next. One morning, as autumn painted the world in gold, Nora paused by her window. A spider had woven its web overnight, and dewdrops adorned each silk strand like precious gems. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to simply watch. The morning light danced through the droplets, creating tiny rainbows that seemed to whisper ancient secrets. In that stillness, she felt a profound shift. The universe had been offering her gifts all along, but she had been too busy running to receive them. The present moment, she discovered, held infinite treasures. Her tea tasted richer when she savored each sip. The birdsong outside her window became a symphony when she took time to listen. Even her work transformed when she brought her full attention to it, revealing opportunities and insights she had rushed past before. Then there was Clarence, who lived in the valley below. He had spent decades accumulating wealth, yet felt persistently empty. His breakthrough came on an ordinary Wednesday, when his grandson placed a dandelion in his hand. The simple joy in the child's eyes awakened something in Clarence's heart. He began to notice the abundance that surrounded him, the warmth of sunlight on his face, the sweetness of fresh air in his lungs, the miracle of each sunrise painting the sky anew. Clarence's relationship with time shifted. Instead of seeing it as currency to be spent, he recognized it as a gift to be unwrapped. His business flourished not because he pushed harder, but because he learned to move in harmony with life's natural rhythm. Opportunities that had always existed suddenly became visible, like stars emerging in a clearing sky. These stories whisper a truth as old as time itself. The present moment is where abundance flows. When you rush past now, chasing tomorrow's promises, you miss the very door through which your desires enter. Each breath carries infinite potential. Each heartbeat holds the seed of transformation. The universe operates in perfect timing, neither hurried nor delayed. Your role is not to force the flower to bloom, but to tend the garden of this moment with awareness and trust. Everything you seek is already seeking you, materializing through the gateway of now. As you prepare for sleep tonight, let your attention rest gently on your breath. Feel the simple miracle of air flowing in and out of your body. This is abundance in its purest form, life-sustaining life, moment by precious moment. The gift of now contains all you need, unfolding in divine timing. Chapter 19. The Bridges of Connection. In a bustling market town, Esther discovered that true abundance flowed not from chasing wealth, but from cherishing connections. Each morning she greeted neighbors with genuine warmth, remembering their stories and sharing in their joys. As weeks passed, her life grew rich with unexpected gifts, fresh bread from the baker, flowers from the florist, and wisdom from elderly friends who saw her pure heart. When you open yourself to authentic connection, the universe responds through the hearts of others. Each smile exchanged, each moment of listening creates ripples in the fabric of abundance. These threads of friendship weave a tapestry far more valuable than gold. Milton's tale mirrors this truth. Once consumed by material pursuit, he changed course when he began hosting simple gatherings in his garden. There, sharing tea and conversation, he built bonds that transcended transaction. Soon, opportunities arose naturally through these genuine relationships. A friend's brother offered him a dream position. Another connection led to a perfect business partnership. The law of attraction works through human hearts. When you approach others with sincere care rather than calculation, you align with the flow of universal giving. Your presence, full, warm, and authentic, becomes a magnet for life's bounty. This ancient wisdom whispers, "The quality of your connections determines the quality of your life." Each person you meet carries a gift, often unexpected, waiting to be revealed through the alchemy of true friendship. Watch how abundance multiplies when shared. Notice how joy expands in the presence of others who celebrate your light. The universe delights in flowing through hearts joined in genuine appreciation. To integrate this teaching, center yourself in stillness before sleep. Imagine one golden thread extending from your heart, connecting you to others with pure love. Feel this thread pulse with light, knowing that through it flows infinite good, touching all lives connected to yours. Chapter 20. The Courage of Expansion. In the quiet shadows of an ancient marketplace, Agnes stood at her small stall, her heart pounding against the walls of familiarity. For years she had dreamed of expanding beyond the simple herbs she sold, yearning to share her knowledge of healing traditions passed down through generations. Each morning, she watched merchants from distant lands arrive with exotic spices and remedies, their confidence flowing like silk in the wind. One dawn, as the sun painted the sky in hues of possibility, Agnes felt a stirring in her soul. The universe whispered of untapped potential, and she knew the time had come. Without waiting for certainty, she approached the merchant council, proposing to teach healing wisdom in the town square. Her voice trembled but held firm, like a leaf dancing in the breeze yet anchored to its branch. The law of connection reveals itself through such moments of courage. When Agnes dared to bridge the gap between her dreams and reality, the universe responded with abundance beyond measure. Students gathered, wisdom flowed, and her influence spread like ripples across still water. Her boldness opened doorways she had never imagined existed. Ralph's tale echoes this truth from a different shore. A humble scribe who spent his days copying others' words, he harbored secret verses in his heart. Fear kept his poems locked away until the day he witnessed a child singing freely in the rain. Something shifted within him, a recognition that joy needs no permission. That evening, Ralph shared his poetry at the village gathering. His hands shook as he unfolded his parchment, but with each word spoken, strength flowed into his voice. Those who listened felt their own hearts expand, and soon Ralph's verses traveled to distant towns, carried on the winds of courage. These stories mirror the eternal truth. When you step beyond the familiar shores of comfort, the universe conspires to support your journey. Every bridge you dare to cross becomes a channel for abundance to flow. Your willingness to connect with others, with opportunities, with the vastness of your own potential, creates pathways for miracles to find you. The greatest abundance often waits just beyond fear's edge. It calls to you in whispers of possibility, inviting you to take that single step that transforms everything. When you answer this call, you discover that what seemed like empty space holds invisible bridges, ready to support your journey. As you close your eyes, picture yourself walking joyfully into a bright doorway. Feel the warmth of possibility embracing you, knowing that each step forward creates new connections to abundance. Part 3. Living as Abundance Itself. Chapter 21. The Ocean of Possibility. In the hidden chambers of your mind lies a treasury vaster than any earthly vault. This truth became clear through Elsie's awakening, a story that mirrors your own potential. Each morning she would gaze at her empty cupboards and feel the weight of scarcity pressing upon her shoulders. Yet one dawn, as sunlight pierced through her window, She noticed how it transformed ordinary dust into dancing specks of gold. In that moment, her perception shifted. The same light that turned dust to gold began illuminating possibilities she had overlooked. Her small garden, once viewed as inadequate, revealed seeds of opportunity. She began sharing her excess herbs with neighbors, who in turn offered their own abundance. What appeared as lack was merely blindness to the infinite exchange of giving and receiving that surrounds us all. The universe operates through expansion, not contraction. This principle revealed itself through Vernon's journey. Where others saw a saturated market, he perceived an ocean of untapped ideas. Each morning, he would allow his mind to drift freely, like a leaf on water, discovering new currents of thought. He understood that creativity, like water, seeks its own level and finds unexpected paths to flow. One by one, his ideas materialized into reality. A simple notion about connecting elderly storytellers with young children blossomed into a community project. Another thought about urban gardening transformed barren rooftops into flourishing gardens. Each success affirmed that abundance knows no bounds except those we place upon it. Your mind, like Vernon's, is a wellspring of infinite potential. The apparent limitations you perceive are but ripples on the surface of a boundless deep. When you open your awareness to this truth, you align with the natural state of abundance that permeates all existence. The universe's abundance manifests through countless channels, each waiting for recognition. Just as water fills every available space, opportunity flows into every open mind. Your task is not to create abundance, but to remove the barriers that prevent you from perceiving its ever-present nature. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, allow yourself to sink into this practice. Lie back and envision yourself floating on endless waters of opportunity. Feel the gentle support of infinite possibility beneath you. Let each breath deepen your trust in the boundless nature of abundance. As sleep approaches, know that these waters of opportunity continue to flow, carrying you toward manifestation, even as you dream. Chapter 22. The Radiant Self. Along the misty shores at dawn, Florence walked alone, carrying the weight of self-judgment like heavy stones in her pockets. Each morning she would gaze at her reflection in the tide pools, seeing only flaws and imperfections. Yet one morning, as the sun painted the waters gold, she chose to look with different eyes. Instead of criticism, she offered herself the same kindness she so freely gave to others. With each gentle thought, each moment of acceptance, Florence felt a shift in the air around her. The universe responds to self-love with magnificent precision. As Florence began treating herself as precious and worthy, her world transformed. Opportunities arose at work, friendships deepened, and even strangers seemed drawn to her renewed energy. She had discovered an ancient truth. The outer world mirrors our relationship with ourselves. When you honor your own spirit, you activate a magnetic force that draws similar energies toward you. This is not mere coincidence, but the working of universal law. Your thoughts about yourself create ripples that extend far beyond your conscious awareness, touching every aspect of your experience. In a distant village, Jerome spent years seeking approval from others, constantly adapting himself to please those around him. His business struggled, his relationships felt hollow, and abundance seemed to elude his grasp. Until one day, sitting beneath an old oak tree, he realized that all the validation he sought from others needed to first come from within. As Jerome began appreciating his own wisdom and accepting his unique path, a remarkable transformation occurred. Clients began seeking his authentic expertise rather than his carefully crafted persona. His relationships grew richer because he no longer needed others to fill his empty spaces. By loving himself, he gave others permission to love him too. These stories illuminate a fundamental principle. Self-love is not vanity, but rather the foundation of all abundance. When you cherish yourself, you align with the natural flow of universal energy. Like a flower turning toward the sun, your spirit opens to receive what has always been waiting for you. The interpretation rings clear as morning bells. Your radiance calls abundance forth. Just as a lighthouse draws ships safely to shore, your self-love attracts the very experiences, relationships, and opportunities that match your inner light. Tonight, breathe into your heart and smile softly at yourself. Chapter 23. The Whisper of Intuition. In the depths of a bustling marketplace, Cecilia stood amidst the noise and commotion, her eyes closed, listening to something beyond the surface chaos. While others rushed about, consulting charts and following trends, she remained still, attuning to the subtle guidance that arose from within. Each morning she would sit in silence, allowing her inner compass to direct her steps. When others questioned her unconventional approach to business, she simply smiled, knowing that true wisdom often speaks in whispers. Day by day, her decisions, though sometimes appearing strange to others, led her toward remarkable success. A small investment here, a new partnership there, each choice flowing not from analytical calculation, but from that quiet certainty within. As her wealth grew, so did her trust in this inner guidance, until she discovered that peace itself was the greatest treasure she had gained. The universe speaks through intuition's gentle murmur, a language more precise than logic alone. Your inner voice carries wisdom accumulated through lifetimes, connecting you to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. When you learn to trust this guidance, you align with the natural flow of abundance. Martin discovered this truth in his own way. For years he had followed others' advice, chasing success through conventional paths that left him feeling empty. One day, while walking in nature, he heard a subtle prompting to explore a different direction. Though it seemed illogical at first, he followed this guidance, which led him to unexpected opportunities and connections that transformed his life. His breakthrough came not from forcing or struggling, but from surrendering to this inner knowing. What appeared as random coincidences revealed themselves as perfectly orchestrated events, each one guided by that quiet voice within. Success flowed naturally, not through strain, but through alignment with his intuitive wisdom. Your inner voice is always speaking, offering guidance toward your highest good. Like a compass pointing true north, it directs you toward experiences of abundance that perfectly match your authentic path. When you trust this subtle guidance, you step into harmony with the universal flow of prosperity. The world may offer its loud opinions and seemingly logical advice, but true abundance follows the whispers of your inner knowing. Each time you honor this guidance, you strengthen your connection to the infinite wisdom that seeks to bless your life. As dreams approach, ask your inner voice to guide you tomorrow. Chapter 24. The Circle of Celebration. In a small cottage among flowering trees, Ida discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of abundance. Each morning, she began a practice that seemed peculiar to those around her. She celebrated the good fortune of others as if it were her own. When her neighbor's garden bloomed, she rejoiced. When a friend received a promotion, she danced. When a stranger shared news of their engagement, she beamed with genuine delight. At first, this practice felt foreign, almost challenging. Yet as days passed, something remarkable began to unfold. The universe responds to the vibration of celebration. As you align with the frequency of joy for others' blessings, you tune yourself to receive similar gifts. This ancient wisdom speaks to the interconnected nature of all abundance. What flows to one can flow to all. Ida noticed that as she celebrated others' victories, her own life began to sparkle with unexpected blessings. Job opportunities appeared, relationships deepened, and even her health improved. She had unknowingly activated a universal law. What you celebrate multiplies. Eugene's story mirrors this truth from a different angle. He began keeping what he called a victory journal, recording even the smallest wins in his daily life. A peaceful morning, a kind word from a stranger, a task completed with ease, all became causes for celebration. At first, these celebrations felt modest, almost insignificant. But Eugene noticed that as he acknowledged these small victories, larger ones began to appear. His business grew, his relationships flourished, and opportunities seemed to find him effortlessly. The simple act of celebrating had become a magnetic force, drawing more reasons to celebrate into his life. This mirrors the eternal truth. Celebration is not merely a response to abundance, it is a catalyst for it. When you choose to celebrate life's gifts, whether grand or subtle, you send a clear signal to the universe. I am ready for more. Think of celebration as a lamp you light in your consciousness. Each time you celebrate, be it your own victory or another's blessing, you illuminate the path for more light to enter. This practice transcends mere positivity. It is an active force that expands the field of possibilities around you. The universe delights in your delight. As you attune yourself to celebration, you align with the natural state of abundance that surrounds you always. Let your heart become a vessel of appreciation, and watch as life responds with increasing generosity. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, celebrate one joy from your day, no matter how small. Let this celebration be the final note of your waking hours, carrying you into dreams filled with the promise of tomorrow's blessings. Chapter 25. The Bridge of Forgiveness. In a small village among rolling hills, Marjorie carried the weight of past hurts like heavy stones in her heart. Each morning, she would wake to tend her garden, yet the flowers seemed reluctant to bloom, mirroring the closed chambers of her spirit. For years, she held tightly to memories of betrayal and loss, until one dawn when the morning light touched her face differently. This moment marked her choice to release the burdens she had guarded so carefully. With each breath, she began consciously choosing forgiveness, not for others, but as a gift to herself. As the walls around her heart softened, life responded with unexpected grace. New opportunities appeared, relationships deepened, and her garden flourished as though reflecting her inner transformation. The universe operates through channels of energy, flowing like streams of light toward those who keep their vessels clear. When you hold onto past hurts, these channels become blocked, preventing the natural flow of abundance. Each grievance acts as a dam, holding back the very blessings meant for you. In a distant city, Philip discovered this truth through his own journey. His business had stagnated while resentment toward an old partner consumed his thoughts. The bitterness he carried cast shadows over every new venture until he realized the cost of holding these dark emotions. One evening, sitting in his office long after others had left, he wrote a letter he would never send. In it, he released years of anger, watching as each word lifted the heaviness from his spirit. Within weeks, his perception shifted. Clients who had hesitated before now eagerly sought his services. Ideas flowed freely, and opportunities emerged as though they had simply been waiting for him to create space. Your own path to abundance flows through the gateway of forgiveness. Each time you choose to release a grudge, you dissolve a barrier between yourself and your desires. This is not about forgetting or condoning, but about freeing yourself from the bonds of past pain. The law that governs this truth is simple. What you hold within shapes what you draw without. When you clear the channel through forgiveness, you align with the natural state of abundance that has always existed, waiting for you to claim it. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, whisper softly, "I release all. I am free." Let these words carry away any remaining shadows, opening your heart to receive all that awaits you. Chapter 26. The Theater of Imagination. In the quiet streets of an ancient town, Opal sat in her small room each evening, drawing the curtains and transforming her space into a private theater. Here, in the sanctuary of her imagination, she would act out scenes of her desired life with perfect detail. She felt the texture of success against her skin, heard the words of recognition in her ears, and moved through her imagined world as though it already existed. At first, this practice seemed nothing more than a pleasant diversion. Yet soon, her outer world began reshaping itself to match these inner performances. The very scenarios she had rehearsed in her mind materialized with uncanny precision, as though life itself had been taking notes during her mental plays. The universe responds to the inner stage you set. Your imagination serves as the rehearsal space where future realities first take form. Within this theater of consciousness, you hold both the role of director and lead actor, crafting each scene with the power of your attention. Leonard discovered this truth through his paintbrush. Each morning, before touching canvas, he would close his eyes and let his mind paint the picture of his ideal day. He saw himself in a sun-filled studio, surrounded by admirers of his work, his art hanging in prestigious galleries. Rather than dismissing these visions as mere fantasy, he inhabited them fully, allowing every detail to become vivid and real in his mind. Gradually, his external reality began matching these internal paintings. Opportunities arose that mirrored his visualizations, as though the universe had been commissioned to reproduce his mental artwork in physical form. His success flowed naturally, following the blueprint his imagination had already established. These experiences reveal a fundamental law. What you repeatedly envision with feeling and faith must eventually manifest. Your imagination is not a place of escape, but a workshop where reality is first crafted. Every great achievement, every moment of abundance, was first rehearsed in the theater of mind. You possess this same creative power. Your thoughts are the scripts from which your life is staged. Each time you mindfully imagine your desired reality, you send ripples through the fabric of creation, preparing the way for physical manifestation. As you prepare for sleep tonight, become both the actor and director of your dreams. Let your mind's stage fill with scenes of your abundant life. Feel the emotions, hear the sounds, touch the textures of your desires as though they are already real. Allow yourself to fully inhabit these visions, knowing that what you rehearse in consciousness, the universe will eventually perform in reality. Important practice. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, create a detailed scene of your desired life. Direct this mental play with care, adding rich sensory details. Feel yourself moving through this scene, experiencing it fully. Let this be your final thought as you surrender to sleep, knowing your inner performance is already becoming your outer reality. Chapter 27. The Union with Nature. Long ago, in a village among ancient hills, there lived a woman named Sylvia who spent her days tending a modest herb garden. While others rushed through life seeking instant rewards, she observed how nature moved in perfect cycles. Each morning she walked barefoot through dewy grass, noting how flowers opened to greet the sun. As seasons turned, she discovered that abundance flowed not from forcing growth, but from aligning with nature's wisdom. In spring, she planted seeds with intention, knowing summer's warmth would nurture their growth. When autumn painted the leaves gold, she harvested with gratitude, and in winter's quiet, she rested, understanding that beneath frozen ground, new life stirred. Through this rhythm, her garden flourished beyond measure, providing not only for her needs, but overflow for the entire village. The law of abundance mirrors these natural cycles. Just as seeds require darkness before reaching toward light, your desires germinate in unseen realms before manifesting in physical form. Each phase serves its purpose. The void creates space for new beginnings. Growth requires nurturing time, and harvest comes when timing aligns with universal flow. In a distant city, Douglas managed a thriving merchant house. For years he pushed against natural rhythms, demanding constant growth regardless of season. His business suffered until one day, watching leaves fall from a courtyard tree, wisdom dawned. He realized that, like nature, prosperity moves in cycles. Periods of explosive growth followed by necessary rest and integration. When Douglas began honoring these rhythms, his success deepened. He planned ventures in harmony with natural timing, expanded during abundant seasons, and used quiet periods for reflection and preparation. His wealth grew steadily, like a mighty oak, adding rings year by year. These stories illuminate an eternal truth. The universe operates through sacred cycles. Your manifestations flow most powerfully when you attune to this natural order. Just as you cannot rush a flower to bloom or force fruit to ripen before its time, abundance unfolds through divine timing. As the earth breathes in and out through seasons, so too does the field of infinite possibility pulse with giving and receiving. By aligning your consciousness with these rhythms, you open yourself to natural abundance, release the need to force outcomes, and instead flow with the cosmic dance of creation. As you prepare for sleep tonight, envision breathing in harmony with the earth itself. Feel yourself inhaling the fresh possibility of spring, the expansive warmth of summer, the grateful release of autumn, and the restful quiet of winter. Let each breath align you more deeply with nature's perfect cycles of abundance. Drift into dreams knowing you are one with this eternal flow. Chapter 28. The Song of Freedom. Long ago, in a village among rolling hills, Ruth lived with a voice she kept hidden. Each morning she would walk to the stream, and there, believing herself alone, she would sing. Her melodies were raw, imperfect, yet pure, rising from her soul like water from a spring. At first she sang only when certain no one could hear, but gradually her voice grew stronger, more confident. The heart of this wisdom lies in understanding that nature itself never holds back. The oak does not question its height, nor does the rose apologize for its thorns. When Ruth finally allowed her voice to ring out freely in the village square, something remarkable occurred. Her authenticity drew others toward her, and opportunities began flowing into her life with the same natural ease as her songs. In the same lands, Frederick dwelled in the shadows of others' achievements. He measured his garden against his neighbors, his craft against the masters, his life against the merchants who passed through. This comparison was a chain that bound him, restricting the flow of abundance that wished to reach him. One dawn, watching how differently each flower in his garden grew, some tall, others wide, each perfect in its own way, he understood. Frederick began creating without looking sideways, following only his inner guidance. As he released the need to match others' paths, his work took on a signature beauty that could not be replicated. His pottery began selling at the market, not because it was like anyone else's, but precisely because it wasn't. Wealth found him through the channel of his unique expression. Just as birds soar without questioning their right to the sky, your spirit thrives when unbound by comparison or fear. Every blade of grass grows upward without asking permission, and every stream finds its way to the sea through its own unique path. This is the natural way of abundance. It flows most freely through authentic channels. The universe invites you to express your truth without reservation. Like Ruth's song and Frederick's art, your unique gifts are meant to flow unimpeded. When you release the binds of comparison and fear, you align with the natural current of prosperity that moves through all things. As you prepare for rest, sigh deeply, feeling yourself untethered and free. Let each breath release another layer of constraint until you float, boundless as clouds in the evening sky. This is your natural state, unlimited, unbound, and abundantly whole. Chapter 29. The Crown of Awareness. Beyond the edges of your familiar world lies a vista of infinite possibility, waiting to be recognized through eyes of heightened awareness. Like a veil lifting in the morning mist, the truth of abundance reveals itself to those who transcend their old patterns of seeing. In a village among rolling hills, Olive spent years viewing life through a lens of scarcity. Each morning, she would walk past blooming gardens, bustling marketplaces, and friendly neighbors, yet see only what was missing. Her mind had been trained to spot the empty spaces, the unfulfilled wishes, the distances between where she stood and where she longed to be. Then one dawn, as sunlight painted the sky in hues of gold, something shifted within her. Rather than focusing on what she lacked, she began to notice the wealth surrounding her, the melody of birdsong, the richness of fertile soil beneath her feet. the warmth of community embracing her days. With each new perspective, doors once invisible swung open before her. Opportunities that had always existed suddenly became apparent, as though she had acquired a magical sight that revealed treasure in ordinary moments. The universe teaches that awareness shapes reality. When you lift your consciousness beyond the familiar boundaries of lack, you enter a realm where abundance flows naturally, like water finding its course downstream. Consider Chester, who walked the same streets of his city for decades, seeing only concrete and hurry. His world felt small until he chose to expand his vision. He began to notice the wisdom in chance encounters, the poetry written in autumn leaves, the synchronicities that appeared like breadcrumbs leading to unexpected fortune. As his awareness broadened, so did his experience of life's generosity. Deals closed effortlessly, relationships deepened, and resources appeared precisely when needed. Your perception creates the boundaries of your experience. When you train your awareness to recognize abundance in its countless forms, you attune yourself to its frequency. Like a radio finding the perfect signal, your consciousness aligns with the universal flow of prosperity. The act of seeing becomes a sacred practice. Each moment holds the potential for revelation. Each encounter carries seeds of opportunity. Each breath connects you to the infinite stream of well-being that surrounds you always. You need only adjust your vision to recognize what has been present all along. As awareness expands, limitations dissolve. The world transforms not because it changes, but because you have changed your way of seeing it. This is the subtle power that reshapes reality, not through force or struggle, but through the gentle art of recognition. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, allow your awareness to soften and expand. Drift into sleep, whispering, "I see abundance all around." Chapter 30. The Infinite Circle. In ancient gardens lived a woman named Hazel, who measured her days by what she had yet to achieve. Each victory felt fleeting, each milestone temporary, as she rushed toward the next horizon. Even in moments of triumph, her mind would race ahead, searching for the next peak to climb. Until one morning, tending her roses, she witnessed how they bloomed, wilted, and returned again, each cycle more magnificent than the last. Nature whispered its timeless truth. Abundance flows not in straight lines, but in endless circles. With this awakening, Hazel's perspective transformed. She saw how every ending birthed a new beginning, how each harvest contained seeds for future gardens, how wealth multiplied when viewed as a cycle rather than a destination. The universal law reveals itself through cycles, breath flowing in and out, tides rising and falling, seasons turning one into another. When you align with this rhythm, you discover that abundance never truly departs. It simply changes form, preparing for its next expression. Raymond, a merchant who once feared losing his fortune, came to understand this profound truth. Where others saw endings, he recognized renewal. A business venture that closed unexpectedly opened pathways to more prosperous opportunities. Relationships that transformed led to deeper connections. What appeared as loss revealed itself as clearing space for greater blessings. His experience mirrors an eternal principle. Abundance operates as an infinite spiral, each turn expanding your capacity to receive. The universe never creates dead ends, only curves that lead to wider horizons. This wisdom lives in your cells, in the very pattern of your existence. Every breath you release makes space for fresh air. Every challenge you face strengthens your resilience. Every cycle completed prepares you for greater expansion. You need not chase abundance as though it might escape. It surrounds you always, waiting to be recognized in its endless dance. To step into this flow requires trust in the circular nature of all things. Release the illusion that abundance can be depleted or lost. It simply shifts form, like water flowing from cloud to rain to river to sea, eternally replenishing itself. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, connect with this eternal cycle. Sleep while picturing yourself walking forever in a circle of golden light. Let this image remind you that abundance never ends. It simply transforms, expanding endlessly through the infinite spiral of existence. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Throughout these sacred chapters, a truth has gently unfolded. Abundance flows not as separate moments, but as an infinite circle of which you are already part. Like morning dew gathering on petals, this wisdom has settled into your being, transforming your relationship with life itself. The universe speaks in cycles and seasons, in the eternal dance of giving and receiving. You have learned to trust this rhythm, to breathe with it, to move in harmony with its silent music. Each teaching shared here has been a key unlocking different chambers of your heart, revealing treasures that were always yours to claim. Remember how you first approached these words, perhaps carrying old stories of lack or limitation. Now feel how differently you stand, stronger, clearer, more aligned with the natural flow of prosperity. The seeds planted in your consciousness through these gentle evening practices have taken root, spreading their branches toward unlimited possibility. Your journey has never been about reaching for what was distant, but about remembering what was always near. Like the air that surrounds you, abundance is your natural state. Every breath drawn in gratitude, every moment spent in joyful expectation, every act of trust has strengthened this knowing. As September's light shifts and shadows lengthen, you understand that this is not an ending, but a deepening. The practices you've embraced, the insights you've gathered, the trust you've cultivated, these are not temporary tools, but permanent transformations in your field of awareness. You are now living proof that what you seek is seeking you. Your changed vibration ripples outward, touching every aspect of your experience. Doors open with surprising ease. Relationships deepen with natural grace. Opportunities arise with perfect timing. This is not coincidence, but consequence, the natural result of your expanded consciousness. The hypnotic whispers of abundance have become your truth, woven into the fabric of your being. You no longer need to chase or grasp, for you have become the very essence of prosperity. Each morning brings fresh evidence of this reality, as your world responds to your renewed energy. You are now and forever part of this infinite circle, where receiving flows naturally into giving, and giving opens the way for greater receiving. This sacred dance continues, eternal and ever-expanding, with you as its cherished participant.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.